Chapter 1. The moment you lose yourself. Most people think emotion strikes like weather. Random, uninvited, impossible to command. But the truth is quieter and more dangerous. You don't lose control in the storm. You lose it in the seconds before it arrives. In that thin slice of time, you hand your mind to impulse, and impulse spends it recklessly. This is where the warrior lives, inside the pause before the reaction. If you can learn to stretch this pause, to make it a place you recognize and trust, you will never again be dragged by whatever your body happens to feel. Chapter 2. The Visitor at Dawn. Taro was not a warrior. He managed a small team, answered to bigger voices, and drove home long after the sun was gone. But every morning, a visitor waited at his door. Anger. It sat in his chest as if it had a key, turning simple tasks into confrontation and minor delays into personal insults. One morning, after snapping at a colleague for a harmless mistake, he stepped outside and felt both shame and fatigue, the kind that doesn't leave with sleep. He realized his life was being ruled by reflex, not reason. Something had to break, either the pattern or him. Chapter 3. The First Sword. Presence. Ancient Japan did not treat emotion as an enemy, but as a current to be crossed with steady feet. Zen calls the first sword presence, the full return of attention to this breath, this stance, this moment. Taro made a vow that morning, one that felt embarrassingly small. For a single week, he would not try to fix his emotions. He would simply notice them exactly when they appeared. At his desk, he placed a small stone, smooth and heavy. Each time heat rose in his chest, he would touch the stone and say silently, "Here." The first day passed with a dozen touches, the second, even more. Nothing changed, except he finally saw the storm forming before it hit. Chapter 4. Musashi's Mirror, Miyamoto. Musashi wrote, "Perception is strong and sight weak. In strategy, it is important to see distant things as if they were close and to take a distanced view of close things." Taro copied this line onto a note and kept it under the stone. When irritation came, he trained himself to look at it from a distance of 10 breaths, not to judge it, not to suppress it, to see it with a swordsman's clarity. This is heat. This is acceleration. This is a story my mind is telling. 10 slow breaths, not as a trick, but as a rule. The breaths became the scabbard. His words stayed sheathed. Chapter 5. The Second Sword. Form. Bushido taught that character is not a mood, it is a form. The warrior repeats the form until it becomes the person. Taro built a tiny system around that idea. 2 non-negotiables every morning before the world could touch him. 15 minutes of still sitting and 5 minutes of kata without a blade. The sitting trained him to watch. The kata trained him to hold his spine when adrenaline tried to fold it. These were not goals to chase, but forms to inhabit. On days he felt powerful, he sat. On days he felt broken, he sat. In both cases, the form did not waver, and so, slowly, neither did he. Chapter 6. The Third Sword. Elimination control is often subtraction. Zen gardens are powerful not for what they contain, but for what they refuse. Taro mapped the 3 triggers that cut him most: rushing, multitasking in conversation, and unguarded transitions between tasks. He made precise eliminations. No meetings back-to-back without a 2-minute breathing bridge. No replying while standing or walking. He would sit or he would not respond. No entering the office before he had finished his morning form. These were small gates placed along a path he walked every day. The gates didn't fight his emotions. They redirected their energy into narrower channels. Chapter 7. The Quiet Reversal. One afternoon, a delivery failed and a client sent a furious message. The old Taro would have fired back, fast and sharp. The new Taro felt the heat rise, touched the stone, and took the 10-breath view. On breath 4, he noticed the story. They don't respect me. On breath 6, he saw the alternative. They are scared. On breath 9, he wrote one sentence. "I understand why this is frustrating. Here is what I can do in the next hour." The reply was neither submissive nor aggressive. It was controlled. Later, walking home, he realized the world had not changed at all. He had. Chapter 8. The Enemy Within. In the dojo of the mind, the opponent is not the emotion, it is the identification with it. Musashi warned against a fixed stance that becomes a prison. If you tell yourself, "I am an angry person," you train your body to draw the same blade each time. Instead, adopt the stance of the watcher. Anger is present, but it is not me. Fear is rising, but it is not my commander. This subtle shift dissolves compulsion. A feeling ceases to be a master and becomes a message, useful but not sovereign. Chapter 9. The Discipline of Not Reacting. There is a strength more difficult than attack or defense, the strength of non-reaction. Non-reaction is not passivity, it is precision. It waits until the target is clear. In conversation, Taro practiced a three-part form: pause, reflect, respond. Pause, one breath, and a small nod. Reflect, repeat the key point he heard to ensure accuracy. Respond, only to the point, no excess, no hidden strikes. This single change lowered conflict and kept his center intact. The room felt different around him, calmer, tighter, as if his silence rearranged the air. Chapter 10. The Identity You Choose. Behavior follows identity, and identity follows vows. Taro wrote a line he could live by. "I am a man who does not hand his mind to the first feeling." Each morning, he read it aloud after the stillness and the kata. The vow did not erase his emotions, it ordered them. When pressure mounted, he returned to the identity first, the breath second, the action third. Over weeks, others began to change their tone around him without knowing why. He had become a stone in the river. Water flowed, but he held his place. Chapter 11. The Sword. You don't draw. Musashi spoke of the advantage gained before blades ever meet. In modern life, this means systems that keep you above the fight. Taro protected his mornings, guarded his transitions, kept his desk clear, and closed his day with a brief review. Where did I lose the pause, and how will I rebuild it tomorrow? By mastering the unseen, the schedule, the posture, the breath, he mastered the scene. His emotions still arrived, but now they arrived to a house with rules. Chapter 12. The Unshakable Center. You control your emotions by controlling the conditions in which they arise, the story you tell when they appear, and the action you choose after they speak. Presence returns you to the moment. Form makes calm repeatable. Elimination removes paths that lead to reaction. Identity locks the gate. This is not dramatic, and it is not loud. It is a quiet craft performed each day until it becomes the way you walk. Conclusion. If you train the pause, the storm will still come, but you will meet it standing. Let others be pulled by every surge of feeling. Your task is simpler and more demanding. See it, name it, breathe it, and then act from the person you vowed to be. Ancient Japan did not promise a life without emotion. It promised the dignity of command. Control is not the absence of feeling. Control is the presence of the one who decides.